I mean, if you turn around to a parent and a child has, they say, cataracts in children, and young children are quite different to adult cataracts. If you have to delay these, you'd have to tell them that the prognosis for getting good vision is less, that they won't do as well. If you've got glaucoma, they could go blind. If you have a tumour and you can't treat it, if it goes outside the eye, it'll kill the child. It's as simple as that. It'll kill the child no matter what you do.
We're joined on the line now by Orla Franklin, who's a consultant cardiologist at Our Lady's Hospital for Sick Children, who's campaigning for better facilities at that, which is the largest paediatric hospital in the country. Orla Franklin, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Could you give us a clearer picture of what the facilities are like now for, I suppose, in particular, cancer and cardiology wards for which you're trying to raise this money?
Yeah, certainly. The bottom line is that day on day we are producing world-class outcomes for our children with cardiothoracic surgical problems. But we're doing that in an environment that simply just doesn't meet the need. Our wards were designed in the 1960s and probably reflect an era where there wasn't an awful lot that anybody could do for children with very significant structural congenital heart disease. Now we can do loads. We can offer hope to this group of children, to this group of 500 children who will require cardiac surgery this year. But we're doing that in facilities that are cramped and outdated and simply just don't meet the need of the year 2012.
When you say they're cramped and outdated, I mean, thankfully, a lot of us will never see the inside of that particular ward. But what do you mean? I mean, you are giving world-class outcomes, we know that. But in what conditions do the staff have to work?
Well, the bottom line is that the average cubicle, for example, on St. Teresa's ward will just about accommodate a standard-sized baby cot. Next to that is a sink and there's just about room for a chair. And that's a space in which a mum or mum and dad frequently find themselves living, sometimes for weeks, occasionally for months on end, while the care that their child who needs urgent cardiac care receives from the team in Our Ladies.
Parents must get very frustrated with that. They know that the staff are doing their best, but if they're sleeping in a chair or if they're sleeping on the floor nearby, that's going to take the toll on the parent, not to mention the child.
It does, there's no doubt about it, and it's difficult. We bring these children and these parents on a journey that involves them understanding what we do and having confidence in every aspect of the service that we deliver. And there's no doubt that when they see the facility, when they see the crumbling walls, the peeling paint, the sinks coming off the walls, that undermines their confidence in our ability to get the best outcome from their care or from the care of their baby. And of course, that confidence is absolutely paramount if we're to take the child through a series of surgical procedures that may well be ongoing over 2 to 3 years.
There is a plan in place, though, isn't there? I mean, you are in the process of revamping these departments. So where has that plan fallen short?
Well, we are in the process of revamping, and we've been more or less at the drawing board now with our planners, with Dublin City Council, with everybody who has a vested interest in getting a good outcome here for the last 18 months. And we are almost there in terms of our funding targets, but we still have 8 million to fill and to put into the coffers. And so therefore we're turning to the Irish people and asking them to think of children that they know, children who benefited from care and services delivered in Crumlin and in these very difficult financial times to reach into their pockets and to help those children.
Yeah, but it's 8 million you're looking for from the public. Where's the state's responsibility in this? How much money have they put forward? There
is absolutely no doubt that the state has a responsibility, and we have made them aware of that. We had very involved negotiations with them in the year 2007, 2008. We spoke to the HSE, we spoke to the Department of Health. They absolutely agreed with us that our facilities needed to be revamped. The money was put on the table, and at the last minute, that funding was withdrawn.
Did they give you a reason why they withdrew the funding?
The money simply was no longer there. I assume it was sidelined to be put into something that was more worthy, although frankly at the moment, sitting where I am on St. Teresa's ward and looking at the 19 children and their parents in front of me, I can't imagine what that would be.
Do you think they might have perhaps been hedging their bets that there was going to be a new children's hospital? There was no point investing 8 million in something that might have to be closed within a few years?
Well, that may well have been the case. I can't speak for them. The bottom line is there are children on St. Teresa's and St. Bridget's ward, St. John's ward receiving cancer care, and they're sick today. They're somebody's children, they're somebody's brother and sister. They're not virtual children, theoretical children who are going to populate a hospital 5-6 years down the line. They're sick now, they have urgent care needs that we need to accommodate now.
How frustrating is it for you as a doctor working in these conditions? Because, as you pointed out, you are getting good results. You are saving children's lives, but you're doing it in conditions that would frustrate the most patient doctor in the world. Are there times when you want to lash out? You want to shout at somebody from the HSE over what's been happening?
I suppose this is our way of shouting in terms of what's happening. We're trying to be productive about it. We're trying to shout out loud to inform people about what's going on and to ask them to help us to make things better.
But you shouldn't have to do that, Orla. This should be something that is done in the interest of patients. You're working in the interest of patients, but we have a system that seems to be working against them for some reason.
Agreed. I am part of a team that delivers fantastic care to a very vulnerable group of children. We do that very well, and there is no doubt that the conditions in which we deliver that care are not befitting the humanity and the dignity of the patient population who need us.
We heard Michael O'Keefe at the start there talking about problems in a different hospital, Temple Street Children's Hospital. The funding isn't available for this, Orla, but are you afraid that other funding isn't going to be available in the years ahead and that your job is going to be made even more difficult and you become more reliant on the public's help?
I hope that's not the case. We work in very, very challenging conditions, and I suppose I, like every other Irish person, hopes that they will improve and that things will get better. Because, as with Professor Michael O'Keefe, my patient population has a need that exists now. It isn't going to be a need that exists after the significant financial and economic problems of this country are resolved. They're going to die now for the want of care unless that care is delivered over the short and medium term. Well,
you're trying to raise €8 million, taking it upon yourself and other people who are giving their time voluntarily to raise this money, which, let's face it, should be coming from the state. How do you want to get people involved if they want to give their time or they want to give their cash?
Well, we have a super new website, and that's entitled fixcrumlin.ie. That will ensure that every cent that is donated will go towards the cancer care ward and the cardiac ward in order to allow them to be refurbished, and indeed, in the case of the cardiac ward, be rebuilt. And there's also a hotline. The number of it eludes me at the moment. As I have it here in front of me.
It's 1890 507 508, I think, is the local number to make donations.
Thanks a million for that.
That's all right. 1890 507 508. The website is fixcrumlin.ie. Do you think you're going to make that money, 8 million, given the times are so tough?
I have every confidence that we will. I think if people look at the images that we're going to show you today of sick children, and if you think of the woman in Haiti, the woman in Africa, whose image evokes all kinds of sympathetic responses in you as you look at those images on TV, we'll think tonight in Crumlin, on Teresa's ward, on Bridget's ward, 25 women will lie down on the floor next to their critically ill children, and will try to nurture them and to provide maternal support for them in conditions that are just not befitting of their status and are frankly inhuman in Ireland in 2012.